So we're here with Rabbi Pinchas Eliyahu, Rosh Hashiva Bastina Kadisha, and we're going to discuss an amazing work he wrote, the tshuva that he wrote based off of what Rav Chaim Kanievsky said in 2016 about the Jews in Africa, specifically in Nigeria, the Igbo tribes, and the method of how they can integrate into the mainstream Jewish world. And as we go into it, I read the tshuva and I was totally blown away. And the thing that blew me away was it was the first tshuva maybe ever written in Jewish history that gives an outline on how different tribes who have different Jewish traditions can integrate into the mainstream Jewish world. And so it was very touching. I told the rabbi that it was a tshuva for Gula, and it's extremely needed and extremely important. So I wanted to Rabbi Pinchas to open up what the idea behind the tshuva was and his objectives, and we'll go into more details about the tshuva itself.
First of all, thank you very much, Rabbi Mordechai, because I think that our discussions are really appreciated by people. They follow, they are interested, and many questions comes. And the Responsa was your wonderful advice and idea, because for us it was the daily study in the Bet Midrash. All the students here, they knew about all the points we brought down in the Responsa, but we took the time, thanks to your advices, to write it down. So also thank you to Rabbi Akiva Yaakov Meir Ben Chaim, who helped for the translation, and to Rabbi Shimon Ephraim Ben Yosef, who helped for this amazing work. So it's a family work, what we did. And the purpose, basically, like you said, was to explain that we have solutions. And then we usually say when we talk together, it's all about wisdom. When wisdom is here and understanding is here, solution and action can be done properly. And something is said in the Torah of Arekadosh, Ben Ishrai take it also, is every single thing which exists in the world is made with inner aspect and external aspect. For us, when we ask the people what is to be Jew today, most of the people will give you the inner definition, meaning you have to practice Torah, being born from a Jewish mother, or to convert and to say that Hashem is my God, and I take on me the yoke of Torah. But there's one aspect which is unknown, is the external aspect of this identity. This is what I call culture. Meaning that if we see that the exiles brought the Jewish people all over the four corners of the world, the inner identity was always there. It's we, our Torah, and our mitzvot. But the external aspect, which is also a full part of the identity, meaning culture, followed. We see that some Ashkenazim, they had a Shtrimer. They chose names like Gittel, Rezel, which are not in the Torah, but it became a part of the Jewish identity. In other countries like Morocco, they had specific foods, specific clothes, that kind of American hat. And what I want people to understand is like this. If we are talking about Gilut and Chomra, and we are dealing with people, tribes, which have this heritage of culture, of wisdom, of human being, let's say, and that they developed kind of names, kind of clothes, kind of food. We just have to connect it to Torah if it's not already connected. So the respect of the culture of the tribes, of the people, of the tribes coming from the four corners of the world is the sign that we understood that even if we were spread out all over the world, we kept something in common, meaning our culture, which is the external part of our identity, will also be kadosh. I will give more example after that. Let's see.
So that's the overall idea of the tshuva. And going, further into it, I want to go like section by section. We open up. You talked about this idea of culture. So using the idea of the people in Nigeria, a lot of times, you use the example of the Ethiopians in the Chuba, the Ethiopians that came over to Israel on the different programs that Israel provided to rescue the people out of Ethiopia, and how they came and they had certain challenges here. And in your tshuva, you saw that challenge and you want to rectify that issue. And so maybe you could kind of give an outlook. So when someone reads the tshuva, they can understand what the ideas are, like almost you giving a commentary on your own tshuva.
Yeah, because we saw that the main problem for the Ethiopian, and before them the Yemenite, and before them the Persian, and before them the Moroccan, Jewish who came in Israel, it was really hard for them to be a part of the nation, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So why? Because we have this problem to accept and to integrate the differences. Differences doesn't mean tuma or impurity. Difference is an additional thing to add. The Ethiopian, amazing work have been done from Rabbi Ovadia, Yosef Zichron or other people who said they are Jew. We just need to convert them, Yosef Humra, and many things. But look now, after more than 40 years, we still see that the place is not found out. Why? We have the story with the Barkan winery. Say, okay, you cannot touch the wine. After making Gerut Lechumra, after all the story with the conversion, after everything they have been asked, they did. But what's happened now, they're still struggling to be recognized as Jew.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? It's because they tried, not they, because they just are to follow the policy. We try to make them look like what was here. And in that way, we ask them to leave their culture behind. But it's wrong. If they are Jews and they need just Gerut Lechumra, what they developed in their country is a full part of our culture also. Meaning, I can say like this, no matter what you build like habits, if these habits bring you to be more silent, with Midot Tovot, more calm, talking respectfully, and being happy of what you had, your culture is the good one. And we see with Ethiopians, they had that culture, they have fest, they have festival, they had clothes. But we try to change that aspect. And even now, I'm ashamed because before today they had a fest, but I still don't know what is that fest.
Yeah.
So meaning, if you give place to the culture that the tribe will bring now to put additions, it will make the integration much more easier, much more.
So, so what I'm getting from that is that you're saying that, the Ethiopians, like, for example, we just had a holiday here, and many of the Ethiopians came down here to the old city, they go to the Kotel, and they had their traditional dress, a lot of the Ethiopians, more of the older generation.
Yeah.
And you're saying that has allowed them, these different cultural pieces have allowed them to be Jewish for thousands of years,
Mm-hmm.
and have a Masorah going all the way back to King Shlomo and even before. But when they integrated into society, Israeli society, some of the people who were in charge felt that the easiest way, coming from a good intention, they felt that the best way was for them to assimilate into, say, Ashkenazi culture or Sephardic culture or subdivisions within that, or maybe even Datalumi. And that culture that they originally came from that kept them strong, in a way got pushed aside, and it gave a lot of the future generations a lot of challenges to connect to Judaism, because their parents are saying one thing and then they're living here. And so you're saying that's the issue you wanted to address.
Yes. This is why instead of the Eliezer program, which is oriented to the tribes in Africa, people in Africa who want to connect to Judaism, we had one project. We called it the Mishnah Project. What is the Mishnah Project for us? It's like this. we have to be connected to all the elders and to ask to them, what is your tradition? Your oral tradition, and to pass it to be written. Why? Because when we will write their tradition down, it will be for us the possibility to connect it to the Masoret we have in the Torah, Gemara, Mishnayot, and so on. Like this, basically, you give to them foundations about understanding, what does it mean that we dress with that colors? And when you write that Mishnah for them, which is passing to the scripture, what you receive and you keep on it from orals, you have to do it with the mindset of Sod. Why? The more you connect to Sod, the more you see that Africans' behavior, culture, food, and clothes are not so crazy. And they have truth, and they are meaningful, and they are hiding many concepts that we lost because we are in a generation where studying Sod, it's not studying a part of Torah, it's like reserved to an elite. No, every Torah has to be studied. We study with the Nigerian. Every time we study Ben Ishrai, every time we study Shai Kedusha, meaning the Musar episode, we say, this is like that we have been taught. This is like that we are doing things. This is why we wear that clothes. This is why we eat that food. And suddenly, by putting Sod in the middle of your analysis, you see that all that behaviors, all that minagim, all that names, maybe also, and all that clothes, they are connected to holiness. And I think that's work missed in the time of the Ethiopians. When they arrive, people say, they don't know about Hanukkah, they are lost. No. Let's see, what do you celebrate? Why you celebrate it? And from that, we will be understood maybe, this is connected to that in Sod. This mean that. This mean that. And I think this is our purpose. Meeting the elders of each tribe will claim that we are connected to Judaism and say, wow, okay, what are the main axes of your culture? What do you do? In that time of the calendar, you sleep outside in kind of tents. Okay. You put that kind of clothes because you want not your shape to be seen from, this is all this is Torah. It's called for me to tikkun, to reconnect all the behavior our brothers or lost tribes, 10 tribes kept, to reconnect to the Kedusha. This is a full part of the tikkun, and this is what I call culture.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So one of the challenges that, and like I said, I feel like your tshuva is for Geula. I feel like there's people all over the world and that are going to come as we get closer and closer to Mashiach. They're going to pop up and they're going to say, hey, we have a Jewish Masura and we're connected to Moshe Rabbeinu, we're connected to King Shlomo, we're all these different things. And now what we have from what you've written, now there's a mechanism that they can say like, hey, we want to live the Torah that is existing today in Eretz Israel. So one of the issues is this process of Geras Humra. And Geras Humra is this idea that it's not a conversion because a person's not per se Jewish. It just means that there's a doubt on what that means exactly, or what their traditions were, or maybe this guy in this area could have it and another person, his next door neighbor, didn't, but they both agree that they hold by Judaism now. So you designed a method, based off of the teachings of the Ari in Al Pisod, on how they can go through a conversion, and not only go through a conversion, but also the process after the conversion of learning. And maybe you could expound on that.
So it's all the purpose for me is to avoid the biggest mistake that sometime we did in the past, is to create different category of Jews. If you are one people, no matter if we can find 12 colors because of the 12 tribes, but we have to consider ourselves as one. And the converts, like the people, the tzaddikim who were living before the Har Sinai, we are in the same category. So what does it mean that someone who come, will leave everything, and say, you know what, mom, dad, bye-bye. I don't want to eat from your food, mom, because it's not kosher. I want to disconnect with my culture when I was born. I want to disconnect with everything because I want to connect to the Torah of Israel. Or someone like this cannot be considered like a Jew. And it's not my speech. It's everything we say, it's with references. Rabbi Nechunya ben Akane, Tana, he said, why only the convert has the merits to receive upon himself a mitzvah say you have to love him? Why it's not written you have to love every Jew? Why only him he received that mitzvah said, you know what, you are from birth, yes, you have to love him who came. Why? Because when he came, he's without any blame. He's not damaged. No impurity from the situation of the golden calf. So that means that we have to understand the doubt, the question about how sincere he is. I understand it, and we are the first to fight and to try to be sure that people are sincere. But after that, we have to have the tools to be sure that from the first second after the mikveh, we can trust him. And the only way to do that, Rabbi Shimon has said, it's when you will see the convert with the deep desire to fix his soul. What is to fix his soul? To admit, okay, I had a journey far away from Torah. That journey gave to me habits, instincts, desire, and I want to fix it. I want to be a good addition, soul in the people now. When a man has a desire built in that way, we know that I'm going to talk about the tikkun nefesh, how a man can fix his soul. When you decide to convert, it's just you creating a desire of moving forward. But when you decide to fix your soul and the damage inside, it's you showing the desire to be totally connected. And that fixing, the way to fix it is fasting. Moshe said, we will receive Torah. So, tzaddikim, go away from your wife. Keep yourself holy. 3 days. Don't drink, don't eat. We have also explanation, Masoret telling that they also had the sheleg. They turned themselves inside of the snow to make themselves holy. It's something different, but it's not to be said. And after 3 days of not eating and not drinking, like Esther asked also, a man bring himself to a corner where it can be trusted. You can trust him because he's giving everything, all the gashmiut, all the instinct, all the interests have been destroyed. That's why from the first second when we receive the luchot, we are trustful. We are the holy people. No one said, okay, we will wait till Purim to see if they are trustful. No. So that's my main purpose, is to create gerut of quality. Because I know when it comes about Africa, when it comes about dark skin, when it comes about black people are always not so sure about what should be done. So we have to be excellent. We have to show that wisdom is here and we're doing things by the top and for the top. And this is the only way. I don't know how the Torah, but the Torah I've received from my master said, this is the only way to bring gerut, to be trust from the first instant. Fix your soul. How? Before you make it, go and make yourself like, okay, I know everything will be forgiven, but I want to deserve that gift that you give to me. Here is, I'm fasting and I'm bathing myself in snow and what does it mean? We need many hours, but this is the main idea.
It's powerful. So I think we just heard. We got one more major question, but I think we just heard the first time, maybe ever, on a systematic conversion process for people that are outside of Eretz Israel. I mean, normally, kind of different rabbis do different things, but you're going straight out of the Masorah of Moshe Rabbeinu and what he told the Jewish people before they receive the Torah, and then after that, the intense learning you spoke about. In the beginning of the tshuva, you describe, you go in and you deal with a really important issue. And the issue is cultural integration. And what is the hashkafa of the Jewish community as it relates to cultural integration? So in the beginning of the video with Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, there was a gentleman there, maybe he's a rabbi, maybe I don't know who he is exactly, but when he was first describing the situations in Africa, he referred to them as Kushi. And when he referred to them as Kushi, for a lot of people, that could be a very offensive term. And you address that in the tshuva, and some people didn't understand why you addressed it. And maybe you could give a clarity to why you addressed the word Kushi and what it means in English. I'm not going to say it in front of holy words, but the N word, which is a very derogatory term in America, and it's a term that's used to describe the other. Not my brother, not another human being, the other. And you address that, which I think is extremely revolutionary.
Yes, my purpose always is, even when we study together, like Chaverim, etc., like Kadosh here, my purpose always to awake the soul of the man when we are studying to go deeper and to understand what is behind the mechanism. If we see in the video, the rabbis, they are all rabbis because they are all in Kadosh, who is sitting, correct him fast. And he said, Kushi, he said, no, African. This few seconds shows a lot about if we want to make a successful integration, we have to avoid to use words which bring people down. We have to use positive words. When we are in Israel, because of the color of our skin, when people call us Kushi, it's not to remind us that we are maybe from Bnei Kush, meaning the sons of the king of Kush, which was Moshe Davka. It's to tell you, you have a color that I don't appreciate the aspect why I don't know, but this is my way to show you that I'm superior to you. So the N word that you say in English, this is the term used here to mean the same thing. When I want to call you by a name which is defining you not about what you are inside, but only what you are outside, we cannot say that moment wasn't a key moment. It was the key moment. Why? Because from the perspective of the two rabbis, two different strategies will be done. Yeah. If someone considers that these Africans calling themselves maybe Jew, they are just Kushim, it will not build the solution properly to bring them to be perfectly and totally integrated as a new additional task force in Israel. Yeah. It will just say, okay, let's make them some gift. Okay, you're Jews, sit there, go in your neighborhood and leave us alone. It's not like in America when it's called Chinatown and Little Italy. It's like, bring your culture, make it shining and let us enjoy what you got. No. But the other rabbis say African. This is Africa, it's another language. It's more positive. It's showing you that we know that you're from a corner of the world, but inside of you is the Jewish soul. And based on that, we were obliged to point that situation, because the way you consider the case which is in front of you is the way you will build the solution next to it. So I saw some people who were shocked, but we have to understand that the black Jew mindset, like you say, like the book say, it's not only from America's perspective, it's also from Africa's perspective, also from the black in Europe's perspective, also the black in maybe in Asia perspective. So in the different places, the different stories have been built. For sure, we go according to the majority. And America is a big and huge culture, and the story there was terrible. But we have also to accept that in some way, we have the power to give to the word the definition we want. If I want to use the N word in my conditions, have the right. This is the power of the Chachamim. You can say, open the door. You say, Abi Mordechai, what is the door? The door is not that. The door is wife, your wife. Why you change the word? It's door. So no, this is the power of the wisdom. It went from the word you pronounce or you use, I can build other realities. That was my purpose, to tell the people, look, the purpose of this Responsa is to build solutions which are not starting from the corner of bringing people down. Opposite, we see them with a lot of admiration and considerations.
And in that vein, some people, you spoke about the greatness of the convert, and how the convert, a person who converts to Judaism, in the frame of Kabbalah, Apisod, that person who converts is connecting, or has the ability to connect to a higher spiritual level than even a person who was born Jewish. And because of that, the Torah tells us how to treat the convert, and how it's the most repeated mitzvah. The Torah, I think, is 36 times, it's mentioned, and maybe you could give some insight on the soul of or the spiritual level of the person who converts to Judaism.
Yes, because all the situation, one more time, is to try not to bring people inside of our faith with the feeling that they are not like the other. And in that case, the sage, they said the opposite. They said, no, you are higher. What does it mean? Everybody accepts that Gemara telling that where the Baal Tshuva is standing, the tzaddik cannot go. So if you accept that logical, why is it hard for people to accept that the same sages have said, where the convert is standing, you are obliged to apply one mitzvah, is to love him as an order. This means a lot. This is here to show to us like this, that the convert is here to bring the people up. The convert is a concept that people misunderstand what is behind. We are judgmental in our position. We think that because you are not it from the beginning, you don't deserve the respect. No. Me coming after doesn't mean that I'm higher than you. Just Torah is asking you to give to me more consideration. So from that perspective, the day we will give more time to ourselves to really study what is the topic of conversion. First of all, we will start making mistakes in our conversions. We will bring people of quality. And second, the face of the Judaism will not be the same, because everywhere it's clear that the convert is not someone to who you make, I will help you. No, he's a very high structure, helping, fixing many situations which we cannot explain now because it's deep. So I wanted people to know that truth. That's what they see sometimes, what they hear sometimes. In some places, still they will be obliged to hide their history. No, I will not say that I'm convert. No, the halacha said, don't remind to the convert is past. So it's not telling to you convert, but to reveal yourself as a convert. It's telling to the other Jews not to mock you and to say, you used to be that. This is the halacha. So when you see now people convert hiding themselves, some convert fighting to each other, why do you say you are convert? Don't say that. Keep low profile. Why? This is the result of this damage. And my purpose is to say, no, there's nothing to do with that. The situation created by Hashem can only be for the good and for the best. So what is the good and the best? This convert is the key of the Geula. I'm telling you, this is the key of the Geula. Arav Abulafia said in his book that Mashiach ben Yosef has to be a convert. I'm not saying, it's written, black and white. Definitely, הכתב יד של הרב Abulafia. And his ad from Edom. Edom meaning Christianity. Or maybe both of them, because we know that Edom and Ishmael were mixed. So I just want people to understand that the story is not black, white, right, left, good, bad. It's like real life. It's more complicated. It's never easy. But we need these things to be said and people to accept that maybe, not maybe, it's written. Many sages of value and who are pillar of our culture, of our Judaism, let's say, Mashiach ben Yosef will be a convert. So I know it's disturbing people, but I'm not here to take care of your emotions. I'm here to give you the emet. After, could we make it happen? Bezrat Hashem. But emotions comes after, wisdom first.
And amen on that. And so this is this is really the main final point on the whole thing. Having the merit to learn your Torah. I see that you're in contact with many different groups around Africa. And this particular tshuva is talking about the Ethiopian issue because it's something that Rav Chaim Kanievsky addressed in his tshuva.
Nigerian.
Yeah, in Nigeria. And so some people could get the impression that that is the focus of the Eliezer program and Christina Kadisha, because there's a lot of politics going around in these different areas. And so maybe you could clarify, like, what is the goal? Is it all of Africa? Is it specifically Nigeria? Like, are we connected to the politics going on? If not, how does that open from there?
What we have to say, like I wrote in the Responsa, we are not politic. We are dealing with faith, with emunah, with ruchaniut, with spirituality. Meaning that our purpose is to help all the lost tribes or all the people who want to connect to Judaism, no matter what and how they came to that, to help them when they are in Africa. For sure, if I have to help someone in France, someone in Brazil, I will do it. There's no problem. We have many students in the program in Asia from Brazil, for example. But our target is Africa because this is the last work. All over the world, people have access to Judaism, have tools, have the sensation that Judaism is not like forbidden for them. It's not far away. It's just the next door. But in Africa, till now that you're talking, tribes which have tradition and proof of tradition, they still feel that Judaism is far away. So the purpose of the Eliezer program is all over Africa. And why we are not politic, because, as I said, we are spirituality. We contact every single country where we are to let them know that our purpose is to help, to empower, and to help to structure the Judaism in their country.
Yes.
Because it's their advantage to see Judaism being working properly like all over the world, not to be a small part of people doing a religion we don't understand. So my purpose is to tell to everybody, we receive a lot of word, a lot of message. We will be helping the Danita of Ivory Coast, the Abayuda of Congo, the Lemba of South Africa. We will be helping everybody, the Jews of Uganda. Everybody who wants to work with us, we will be helping. But we work in a very serious way. We are not here to make fantasy. We're not here to sell dreams. We're not here to let people in a kind of no man's land. No. We bring you straight down to reality. You have to know what you will be facing, and after we build slowly, because this is the only way to be recognized and to be credible the day all of the 10 tribes will come back and say, we are one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and so people want to see the physical tshuva, they could go on your website?
Yeah, they can go on the website. It's in PDF. They can load it down. And we'll be...
The website is?
otinakadisha.org. O-R-G. You go there, you see at the homepage, you have the Responsa. We have also a previous discussion about the Psak of Kanievsky. And also what we are doing, the Responsa is printed and will be sent to the embassy of African country concerned or to that situation in Israel. We'll be sending also to Rabbanut. So we are doing a serious work, and I just want people to understand that we are built on the society of Midot Tovot in every single steps we are doing. So no one of our words, no one of our rights have purpose, Chas v'Shalom, to disturb, to insult, or to shock without purpose. Everything we do is rooted in the wisdom of our sages, justified with references and with the purpose of building B'Kedusha, B'Tara, B'Shalom.
So I guess with that being said, I personally wanted to thank you for the work that you're doing, and it's inspirational to see this type of leadership. For myself to push myself to take more responsibility, to get involved, and visit the website. You can see the other videos, and God willing, the Rab's I think going to write even more detailed tshuvas on the conversion process, on keeping the cultures that the people originally have, and overall hashkafa. So again,
Toda Rabbi Mordechai, Toda Rabba, because you are the sparks who push that action. B'ezrat Hashem, and we also have your book.
Yeah, Mind of the Black Jew.
Soon, and we will be share on the topics you bring down. B'ezrat Hashem.
Amen.
Toda Rabba Tzadiki.
Tribe, Bantus, all the scattered sparks about to roll back through. Rabbi Pinchas, Batzina, Kadisha, Claudius Royale on the link.